southern Utah near Zion National Park. This is a landscape that has no equal anywhere in the world. The red and tan sandstone cliffs and mesas of this region are the setting for one of the most truly awe-inspiring sporting events that take place on a bike, let alone across sports at all. There are very few that would explore this desolate region on foot, let alone send it on a bike. This is Rampage. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
You got a little, you can use much more.
Hey everybody, Sal Masekela here, your host of the Red Bull Signature Series, and allow me to welcome you to a place unlike any other on this planet. On the outskirts of Zion National Park is a hostile landscape that, aside from its red hue, looks more like an Alaskan mountain range than a Utah desert. This transcendental terra firma is home to the most coveted event in mountain biking, Rampage. And it is here, just outside of the town of Virgin, Utah, that a handful of the world's top mountain bikers come together once a year to attempt the impossible. They are given a start, they are given a finish, but how they connect those dots is completely up to their imagination and their courage. 2018 marks a transition year to a new location, a clean slate, if you will. And each competitor arrived here 10 days ago to construct their own unique and treacherous lines down a vertical desert with only shovels, pickaxes, sandbags, and a two-person dig team. Past winners are definitely ones to watch. Guys like Andreu Lacondeguy, Brandon Semenuk, Kyle Strait, and with a current record 3 wins, Sorge. Now chasing them for a shot at the title, the Young Bucks, Carson, Storch, and Nell. I can talk all day, but this is an event you have to watch, so let's get to it. The first competitor is about to drop. We'll send it to Pat Parnell and Cam McCaul.
Thanks, Sal. Yeah, absolutely. The hills behind us are just that, hollowed grounds when you talk about the history of freeride mountain biking. And there's a reason for that. This terrain has provided so many memorable moments for the sport. But here's the deal. This venue is really becoming the star. It's the driving force for all the anticipation for not just the fans, but especially the riders.
Yeah, the first year at any new venue is always the most exciting Rampage scenario you could come into. But this venue in particular is unique. There's variety in the lines. We have the steepest terrain we've ever seen. We have more gigantic boulders scattered throughout the course that riders are integrating into their lines. And the first year at a new venue brings a lot of question marks for final days. Sometimes riders are hitting these features for the first time in their final run. So the excitement is building and we're about ready to start dropping riders.
Yeah, and up top on one of the most unique features is our own Tina Dixon.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. I'm on the rock, as you could see. This is part of Brendan Fairclough's line. He's also calling it Dwayne Johnson, so having some fun with the names. I made my way up here, and I've hiked up here, and this is about as far over as I will go. The line goes like this, and then he drops down over there. The landing's over there. So he has made something where nobody else would think to make a line. In fact, this whole mountain, you have to remember at one point, it was just treacherous looking. No one even thought to hike up it, let alone build jumps. But you gotta leave it to the creative minds of these mountain bikers to find opportunity where nobody else does. They've worked hard, they've built their dream line, and that's part of what makes Red Bull Rampage so special. Pat.
Thank you, Tina. A lot of excitement brewing here. Red Bull Rampage, best of 2 runs, scored out of 100. It is the best run that counts. Judging format, 4 criteria. We start with line choice.
Basically anything in between the boundary flags is open for interpretation. If you want to go off a huge cliff, do it.
Then there's speed and fluidity.
How fast you ride the line, the dust flying off your tire, that's all evidence of speed and fluidity.
Amplitude.
If you're going off a big cliff or a long gap, that's where you get those points.
And always the fan favorite, tricks. We'll all be watching for that.
Of course, backflips, 360s, Superman's cork 7s. You see it all out here at Rampage.
And we saw a quick shot of Cassia Godziek, the wife of Szymon Godziek, the rider in the gate right now, a very moto-inspired rider. Watch for that extension. Interesting side story. Picked up his wife, who flew all the way from Poland with their daughter to be here today.
Now, the biggest moment of his season is right now. It's worth flying all the way into the Utah desert from Poland for it. Let's see if Szymon Godziek can be reunited with his family at the bottom safe and sound.
Our first rider on course, Szymon Godziek, drops in.
Cracking a nice table off the first drop here. Now, Szymon Godziek is going to be making his way into the middle ridge where there's the feature we're calling Price is Right, a massive landing with a bunch of different takeoffs. We're gonna find out which takeoff he chooses. There's smaller options, there's bigger options. Looks like he's opting for the smaller option right now. Smooth into the transition of that landing. Now there's a trick jump here, a backflip tuck, no hander. Oh no! Well, a huge overshoot from Szymon Godziek. As we await for him to emerge through the dust here. Hopefully he's all right.
And you saw just where the dismount came, and that is a great thing to see. Up on his own feet, on his own volition, his wife Cassia and child watch as one of the bigger crashes we have ever seen.
Well, that was a huge overshoot. Let's take it back up to the top before that huge crash. Nice extension on that tabletop. So things were going smooth for him, but this is where it all went wrong. Good extension on that backflip tuck no hander. But look how far he sailed down the landing. I mean, he pretty much landed on the next feature. Well, onboard view from the GoPro POV right there. Can you imagine what was going through his mind when he saw how far past the top of that knuckle he was sailing?
Well, I think the crowd is in disbelief, but his wife Cassia and daughter are so happy to see Szymon roll in to the finish corral, and his eyes will be set on run number 2. So a throwaway for him as we refocus, recalibrate, and get ready for the rest of the field to take their first of 2 runs. Brendan Fairclough getting ready to drop. More Run 1 action from Virgin Utah when we return. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Rampage, part of the Red Bull Signature Series, is brought to you by Utah, the state of sport. By Go RVing, find your away. By BF Goodrich Tires, what are you building for? And by GoPro, shaky video is dead. Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is Rampage near Zion National Park in southern Utah. I am your host, Sal Masekela. On first impressions, this event takes place on a single day with only 2 runs down some of the most intimidating terrain on Earth. But Rampage is a lot more than that. Today's finals are the culmination of a 2-week journey. Each rider makes this pilgrimage across the country and in some cases across the world to explore southern Utah's spectacular desert, landscape, mountain ranges in order to push their own personal boundaries and reconnect with old friends. For so many, Rampage is not just a competition, this is an adventure.
Rampage, it isn't all about just taking 2 gnarly runs. It's also about the collaboration with all your buddies that you've known for years. Going to Virgin Utah. We're at some bikes. Kind of rolling down, taking our time in the RV, cruising through a few states. Utah has some of the best big mountain freeride terrain in the world. Staying with my dig crew in an RV resort right at the mouth of Rampage Road. This is home.
Nice to be close to the site. The campground is right beside the entrance to the road to the Rampage.
New site is pretty daunting every time we show up, and then especially how much digging has evolved, so we know that how much more we're gonna get our hands dirty.
Today is the official first day, and we're scoping. And then you could go off of here and then step up on. Thinking, like hip drop from there into this spines already there. We all gotta get from all the way up top to all the way down below, and it's a bigger site than ever, so I think teaming up is gonna be key. So I'm super down. Or if you're down. Yeah, let's keep trucking. It's just super fun to connect with everybody and build, and you know, it's kind of just like a full mission every day.
It's just the digging Olympics, so it's cool to be a part of, you know, taking this mountain from raw landscape to mountain bike paradise.
There's no other event where you build your own line and you sort of build your own destiny, I guess. We want to go off the biggest rock on the mountain. And this is Dwayne Johnson, the rock. And it's probably the biggest, scariest feature in my line. I'd probably say we've done a solid day from from 7 in the morning till 7 at night on this thing, getting it built up on and on the run out.
Is definitely an experience. It's not just like show up, practice, do the contest. You're with like your 2 best buddies that are gonna help you dig, and athletes that are your friends, all these other diggers, you're eating lunch in the tent, you're kind of in this intimate place. This isn't fun to sit out in the desert and just dig for days, but it's fun when you've got like all these other guys around you and everyone's building crazy stuff. Putting all that together makes Rampage what it is and really special.
Red Bull Rampage, what has quickly become the mecca of mountain biking. And it's this yearly pilgrimage where the payoff, it's not just potential glory, but that camaraderie, something I know you've experienced firsthand, Cam.
That's it. There's a lot of different ways to do Rampage. You can go to a hotel, you could rent a house, but it seems like the riders who choose to put their builders in an RV just seem to have the highest morale. And speaking of which, the highest morale out there has been the build crew from Brendan Fairclough. This is his own very unique line. He didn't share any of these sections with any of the other competitors.
A loner by design, approaching the far side rider right of the course.
So Brendan Fairclough, he is a racer through and through. He spends all summer following the World Cup downhill races, and right now this is one of the most exciting features.
Sticks, the landing off the rock.
What a great feature to have at Rampage. This is the first venue that's had these massive boulders, and Brendan taking advantage of that, riding off of what he's calling Dwayne Johnson. Now he's coming into his big canyon gap. Oh, perfect landing.
And some great speed management there by Fairclough. Watch the exposure on this line.
So he's calling this the crack. Somehow he was able to turn that hole in the rock right there into a rideable chute. Now he's got a trick jump. Let's see. There we go. A backflip. Now that's something you don't expect to see from the racer Brendan Fairclough. So stepping outside of his comfort level right there, knowing that tricks and amplitude are on the judges' scorecard.
And the finish corral in his sights, top to bottom, clean run by Brendan Fairclough, the 30-year-old out of the UK. Incredible.
Great run for Brendan. I mean, that's given the people what they want. They talk about wanting to keep Rampage true to its roots. That was basically a high-tech single track with huge features like this rock scattered throughout.
Yeah, ticking all the boxes, very creative on that line. He has that insatiable lust for canyon gaps. We saw him in 2016 taken out of competition due to an injury with a canyon gap, but perfectly navigates this one, Cam.
Well, he and his build crew were nicknaming this feature Redemption Canyon because of that hand injury he had a couple years ago. So Redemption paid off, and he was able to make it into his chute right here. This onboard view really shows how technical that chute is.
Yeah, so many possible lines that could grab a tire, but all smiles. Fairclough taking that solo line and a 67.66. He will sit on top for the moment with more riders to go. Up top, the rider out of Spain, none other than Andreu Lacondeguy, a former champion here in 2014, no stranger to the podium. Reason for that? His fearless, fast approach. It tends to pay off when you talk about Rampage. For more on that, let's take a closer look.
Yeah, new venue looks insane. Just feels different. Yeah, I struggled a little bit on the last couple years venue. I don't know, I think it was a little bit too exposed for how I like my riding, and this one is a little bit more open. I think there's a lot more room to just go fast here. And I like it, man. I think it's maybe one of the best ones I've seen so far.
So Andreu Lacondeguy, as I mentioned, a first-place finish here in 2014, backed that up with a second-place finish in 2015. I'll just pose the question, Cam. If he pulls off the run we know he's capable of, will he find the podium yet again?
Oh, absolutely. What he has set up on his line will 100% go into the lead if he stomps it. But he rides on the edge of control, and that is his strength.
You can see that fully pinned two-stroke approach.
Now, Andreu Lacondeguy has been relatively dormant in the last couple years because, as we saw in that piece, he didn't really vibe with the venue. He didn't like it. This one, he's all smiles, so I can't wait to see what we have in store for us. Here we go. He's got a trick jump coming up that connects to the ridge on his rider's right, and I know he's got some plans for a trick. There it is.
Oh.
The flat spin 450 up on, and he links it right into the backflip. But look at this, look how he slowed down for that next roll. I can't even begin to describe how tough it would be to slow down if you lost your speed there. There we go, Superman on the setup jump, backflipping the step down. Oh, this is classic Andreu Lacondeguy.
Textbook Lacondeguy, speed management mixed with big tricks right at the end with the look back for good measure.
Look at the attitude, spinning that flat spin 360, just staring back at the crowd, so casual while doing something that's so incredibly difficult.
And if we can go in and dissect how much was going on, the fact that he was able to link the tricks that he was doing and then control the speed in between those features, so technical for Lacondeguy.
The thing that's most impressive to me, linking this flat spin 360, and look how much time he has once he lands to then lean back and flip this step down on the ridge. But of course, perfect extension on that Superman. That's what we know and love from Andreu Lacondeguy. But once again, having to shut down the speed to be able to lay into that step down flip.
Let's check in with Tina, who's with the former champ, Andreu Lacondeguy.
Yeah, if I can get a hold of him. The fans love him down here. It's been so loud, especially when he came through the finish line. Andreu, you've won this event before, but you said you loved this venue. It had all the elements that you want. You showed us that, the steepness, the exposure, the tricks. How close was that to what you wanted?
Yeah, I felt good, and I just had in my mind a little reminder that I had to go slow for some of the tricks I was doing, but at the same time, I just wanted to go as fast as I could. So, I'm pumped that I mixed it all together and it worked. And that's always a pleasure to make it to the bottom at Rampage. Hopefully it's good.
What a great run, guys.
Thanks, Tina. So, Cam, I have to ask, we knew what he intended to do in that first of two runs. Now that we've seen what he was able to do, what are you thinking?
Well, and I feel like, there we go. I was going to say he executed his plan perfectly, and look at that, he's rewarded.
87.33. We have a new leader here at Red Bull Rampage. So the Spaniard delivers a solid score, but many other past champions yet to come. Up next, the Canadian Tom van Steenbergen. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. You are watching Rampage. I am your host, Sal Masekela. It is a common misconception that to ride at an event like Rampage and become one of the best freeride mountain bikers in the world, you can't crash. But in reality, quite the opposite is true. You see, learning to crash properly is just as important as learning to send perfect tricks over huge gaps. To compete at this level, crashes are unavoidable. And it's how you react in those milliseconds that will mean the difference between looking for redemption or looking for a desk job.
A lot of people think that we're professionals and we never crash, but that's the complete opposite. The only way to get to where we are is to learn how to crash. The whole goal is to slowly transition that momentum to a gradual stop.
All right, well, we don't need to spin that hard.
It's a skill in itself.
These guys are professionals. They've gone through the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not just a professional bike rider, they're professional crashers as well. Nikolai Rogatkin's crash in 2016, and that's kind of like worst case scenario out here.
A lot of the reason why most of these guys walk away uninjured is the terrain is super unique and it's really forgiving.
First rule you always want to keep in your mind is never get rid of your bike and let your bike take the impact. But then there's also the X factor. If you're going over the front of the bike, 9 times out of 10 you'll see athletes jump over their handlebars. It's a tough one to say because every situation is going to be different.
My shoulder's out. Put your fist in my armpit.
Okay.
Here, and I'll pull down. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God.
There we go. I'm good, man. All right. It comes out all the time. Cool. Yeah. Just bummed because it's night before finals and it's coming out. It's the hardest position to be in. You just have to always take a step back from the pressure and just do what's right for you and look at the bigger picture.
I just have 1 weak point. I'll get that fixed and be back better and stronger for next year.
That guy's enjoying the show today.
We're calculated professionals that have been doing this our entire lives. We come out here and we take every little bit of safety to figure out where we're gonna ride, how we're gonna ride it. And at the end of the day, it ends up being instinct.
So no surprise there, Cam. Learning how to fall, a vital component of riding at this level.
So Cam Zink out because of that shoulder injury right now.
Rider number 12, Tom van Steenbergen. 3.
As we see Tom van Steenbergen in the gate, a brash and bold approach. Known for his tricks. We're going to see how much he can sprinkle into this first of 2 runs.
Oh, well, Tom van Steenbergen already starting out strong with a 360 off the start drop. He has some very big plans for this run, and I'm just curious if he's going to save stuff for the second run or if he's going to go all out in his first of 2 right now. So good style over the hip. Now we're going to see how big he's going to go here on Price is Right. All right, he's opting rider's right, a smaller takeoff here.
Small being relative right there, Cam.
Yeah, well, he has another really big one coming up. So there we go, avoiding an overshoot on that section where we saw Godziek crash earlier. So good precision here in calculating the speed. But this is the big drop on his line he's been talking about tricking. Oh, there we go. A flat drop backflip on the biggest drop in his line. And he stomps it perfect. For a second, I thought he was going to over-rotate.
Almost over-amp with speed on the hits below, able to get it back in the flow.
Another backflip on the trick jump here. And now he's able to flow through the finish line. Oh!
And with that, Tom van Steenbergen finds that 7th, 8th gear. I don't even know what you want to call it, but just the sheer technical fortitude needed to send a flip on that feature.
That's definitely one of the biggest flat drop flips in the history of the sport. And right there, there's the only other guy who may have done one bigger than him, Cam Zink, congratulating Tom van Steenbergen. Now, how Tom's shoulders stayed in upon landing, that's a big mystery, but let's go on board here at the GoPro POV on that 360 to start things off. But here was the biggest moment in the run right here. See, there's no dirt lip at the end of that drop to help him initiate the rotation. He just has to lean into a wheelie basically and hope that the rest of his bike and body will follow suit. You can see there how early he spotted his landing. That means he was pretty much done with the rotation, and he still had a lot of airtime to go.
So a very strong line, but it's without a doubt what he added to that line. Steenbergen, 84.66, enough to move into 2nd place.
Well, great to see Tom being rewarded for that run right there. That was definitely a dream run.
And you can see a packed house here in Virgin, Utah. And Tyler McCaul, a rider known for taking a very aggressive approach. And I know you've got a lot of expectations for your brother here of what he intends to do.
Well, earlier in the week, I was asking him how his line scouting was going. He said he thinks he found the biggest step down he's ever hit. Now, he guinea pigged that just yesterday, so now he has to put all the pieces together in his first of 2 runs.
So an amazing blend of speed with massive drops.
Here we go, off that flat drop. Oh, losing.
Oh, no!
Oh, wow. Well, luckily he was able to tap into all the years of crash experience and roll out of that one smooth. But man, did that ever go wrong?
As we were saying, crashing is half the skill set needed. Cat-like awareness on the dismount.
Well, here's what happened. There's a pretty flat landing on that drop. He needed his wheels to be on the ground, so he was able to use his brakes and slow down. But he ended up in the middle of that berm, all of his energy compressing, and luckily he was able to front flip into a nice piece of slanted soft dirt. That could have been way worse than it was.
So a lucky fall, if you can call it that, for Tyler McCaul as he tries to shake it off and focus on his 2nd run, where it's best run that counts. And great to see he'll be working his way down to the bottom as we shift gears right back to the top to a verified veteran of Rampage, a rider that has competed in every single Rampage. First in 2004, first in 2013, none other than Kyle Strait.
Oh, look at this guy. With 13 rampages and 2 wins under his belt. He knows more than anybody what it takes to choose a line that could win this event. Something that's different this year is he always teams up with Cam Zink, so they're always riding the same line, but Cam Zink out because of that shoulder injury right now. So Kyle Strait, this may be an advantage from a judging standpoint because he'll be the only one riding this line.
And a lot of people are saying that having it in a new venue definitely benefits a rider like Kyle Strait.
Here we go, this sharp 90-degree left-hand corner into the chute. And then after this drop, he has to jump over a couple different lines here, connecting it all smoothly. Now he's making his way over to a really big flat drop. We'll see what he has in store for tricks off of this thing. Here we go, this is the one. Nice, classic Kyle Strait style on that suicide no-hander.
One of his signature moves. Strait's success so far, amazing extension.
Great extension is right on that Superman. So that was classic Kyle Strait right there. Perfect from top to bottom. And of course, the 2 times he's won this event, he's done the suicide no-hander off big drops. You gotta put that one in there, and that Superman was well executed. And really the line itself had all the criteria represented.
Spoke to him earlier, said he definitely wanted to get a solid one in the books on the first of 2 runs, and he did just that. And gets a little congratulations from good friend Cam Zink as we look back up at the top. Look at the bike control.
Well, Kyle Strait and Cam Zink, they always have a steep chute on their line. You can think back, choose a year. They've got their big flat drop, they've got their big chute. And Kyle Strait always does that suicide no-hander off the flat drop. And then a perfect line between his helmet and his shoes on that Superman.
So Kyle Strait scored to beat an 87.33 held by Andreu Lacondeguy to move into the top spot as we await scores. There it is, a 76.66. So the former champ moves into 3rd place for the moment. So 2 past champions now sit in the top. However, there are plenty of riders to come, and they are hungry to capture their first win here at Rampage. Carson Storch preparing for his run number 1. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back, everyone, to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is Rampage from near Zion National Park in southern Utah. Run 1 underway. A look at our current leaders. Kyle Strait in 3rd, Tom van Steenbergen in 2nd, and there is Andreu Lacondeguy, former champ, sitting on top.
Rider number 15, Carson Storch. 3, 2, 1.
We shift gears right back to Carson Storch, the 25-year-old, the present and future of freeride.
This right here is the biggest day of the year for Carson Storch. His slopestyle game is still high, but he stopped competing in slopestyle to purely focus on big mountain freeride. And with this being the only big mountain freeride event in existence, this is his time to shine right now in 2018.
A rider with so much natural talent and a lot of excitement over the creativity of his line.
Well, he's got this lip down here. Look at that, he flips it. Look how raw and rugged that landing is. He needs to hit this 90-degree right-hander. Now he has a setup jump. Oh, he's not able to connect to that setup jump. Is he gonna have enough speed? He's not.
And just with that, off his line, unable to connect what he anticipated was gonna be an incredible first run of 2. Where did it go wrong in that? We saw how much speed he had coming into it.
Well, really unfortunate to see him having to throw this runaway. But basically, he kind of deviates further riders left than anybody else, which means he's not able to team up with any other riders to finish his build. He has a lot of really unique features in his line that incorporate a lot of the natural terrain. And right there, he just needed to connect, but he's got this big drop. Let's see if he still hits it. Oh, jeez.
Wow.
360 off that flat drop. We saw Kyle Strait no-hander. Oh, no.
And just overcooks it on the landing, but you saw how much he had to recorrect on that landing.
This camera angle of that step down flip, this is one of my favorite features out here at the new venue. It's really natural. There was a lump there already for the takeoff. Then here's that huge 360 drop. A little bit of an over rotation. You see him having to correct as the rear tire was fishtailing about after rebounding off the initial impact. And wow, just running into that bush.
Perfectly illustrating, if you're just slightly off your line, it is not going to work out when you're riding at this speed, at this level. So a lot of anticipation building for our next rider. He's found dominance in so many competitions, but has yet to find his flow here at Red Bull Rampage. None other than Brett Rheeder. He has been looking strong all week, but this was the situation earlier, and this was concerning, to say the least.
I mean, this was right before they had to head up for their final runs. This is one of his last chances to practice, and he came up short on this feature that's basically a setup in his line. This isn't even one of his big hits. Coming up short, going right over the bars. I mean, we were happy to see him pop right back up. He was okay. But as far as the mental game goes, that's not going to help right before you head to the top of the course.
We're talking about that mental focus that we've seen here this week. It's almost unnerving. We've seen him approach these features, and we're seeing something a little different in his eye. Here goes Brett Rheeder, run number 1.
Well, especially just with the line he chose. He's definitely more ambitious with his line choice this year and already throwing some tricks. An opposite 360 off the first drop. So hopefully we may be able to see him complement that with a regular rotation later on. But that's a big technical drop in his line leading into this trickable drop. Oh, and he flips it.
Rheeder goes flawless.
Flat drop backflip on the biggest drop in his line, and he still has so much more to come.
And this is exactly the run that Rheeder wanted to string together on the top section.
So now he's going to link back here into a similar section that we saw Andreu Lacondeguy ride. There's that jump that he crashed on in practice. Smooth here. And there we go. A regular rotated 360 drop. Into the final trick jump in his line. A backflip one-footed can-can, getting that variation. What a run for Brett Rheeder.
Rheeder showing versatility, finesse, and a deft touch on the bike. Hands raised as elation will start to set in for Rheeder. Incredible first run of 2.
Brett Rheeder chose a way more difficult line out here in the desert than he ever has in any of his previous 5 appearances. He has technical drops. He has trickable technical drops. Here's a great look at that flat drop backflip. You can see there's no lip on that takeoff. That always scores higher than if there is a lip. And here we go, complementing the opposite 360 drop he did up top with this regular 360 off of a bigger drop at the bottom, but he wasn't done yet. He gets the backflip. Of course, he puts his foot over the top too. We call that a can-can. I can't wait to see what the judges do with this one.
Right now, let's check in with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, well, I know the mindset coming into this event, it was a very focused Brett Rheeder. I've seen you compete before, but there was a different look in your eyes, and I walked the course, and your line especially yesterday. How intense was that in technical?
Well, I took a crash in practice just before we went up, a pretty hard one, and I'm just pumped that I put it together and made it to the bottom without crashing.
All right, so I'm just getting word that you have moved into the lead with an 89.66. What's the reaction to that score? I think the reaction on his face says it all. How close was that to what you wanted to do?
That was exactly what I wanted to do. I don't have anything more that I can do. That was my first time actually riding a full weight line from the top to the bottom, and I had no clue that was going to work. I just was hopeful and very ambitious this week, very, very ambitious. And yeah, I don't even care if that spot holds. I'm just happy I got down, and I hope that everyone else gets down and gets right into the finish corral here without crashing.
Well, Brett, he did it top to bottom, a very technical run, and you're in the lead. Guys.
So a refocused Rheeder paying serious dividends. The new leader still in the midst of the first of 2 runs, but really Rheeder showing his resilience, taking that fall earlier. But remember, 2-time champion Brandon Semenuk and local hero Ethan Nell, who made the podium last year, will take their turns against the mountain here at Rampage. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back, everyone, to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is Rampage, the top freeride mountain bike competition in the world from southern Utah near Zion National Park. And there is none other than two-time champ Brandon Semenuk. We call him meticulous, methodical, a mastermind of mountain biking. When you talk about his creative approach, it's paid dividends for him, as in 2 first-place finishes, once in 2008 and again in 2016. And based on the creativity of the line we know he has planned, he could definitely find himself in the top spot once again. Semenuk on course.
Oh, it is a treat to watch this guy compete. He doesn't compete at all anymore, not hitting even one single slopestyle competition of this season. As you said, he's won twice before, so we are in for a treat. Always full of surprises, this guy. So he's setting up right now. He's got this rock. There we go. He launches onto the rock and off. A nice, creative way to utilize the terrain out here. More unique than at previous venues, and now a very steep and technical double drop leading into a trick jump. What trick will he choose? A cork 720. Oh! Oh! Wow.
Semenuk going for a little history, but in the process getting hung up on that lip. Just casing, just came shy of the other side of that.
So all smooth and typical Brandon Semenuk up until that point, but here's where he was gonna start to dump out the bag of tricks. Now a cork 720 on a left hip, meaning that he has to rotate more than 720 degrees. So hopefully he can learn from that mistake here and go a little bit quicker and pull a little bit harder in run number 2.
And you can imagine all the fans want to see Semenuk deliver the run we know he's capable of, so we'll wait to see for that, as we are still in the midst of first of 2 runs, where best run that counts. Now, the big story last year was the story of Ethan Nell. 2015, he was a digger for Lacondeguy, and last year he found himself in 3rd place. For a little update on that, let's once again check in with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, and I asked Ethan Nell about his line this year, and he looked at me, gave me a one-word answer. Scary is what he said. He said it's bigger, it's steeper, it's faster, and it finishes off with his giant drop behind me. This is near the end, and he actually teamed up with a couple other riders, including defending champion Kurt Sorge on that. So now keep in mind, Ethan took 3rd place last year. He's from this area. No one from this area has ever won this event before, so if he finishes on top of the podium, that's gonna be a very big deal here.
A lot of people pushing for Ethan Nell.
Rider number 19, Ethan Nell. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go, baby. We expect big things from the 20-year-old. Ethan Nell drops in.
Here we go. He went from fan to builder to podium contender. Here we go. Here's his run for 2018. Starting out strong. Suicide no-hander off the first drop. Now he points right down in the middle. Oh! Well, he didn't do that in practice. Flipping the first step down in his line. He's off to a great start here.
And sticks that massive transfer, looking awfully comfortable.
Now, this is unique to him. This is his own section right here. And that big drop definitely rivals all those other takeoffs on The Price is Right. A big nose manual just showing how much control he has over that bike. I mean, living out here has got to help being comfortable in this terrain. Here we go, the biggest drop in his line. Does he have a trick for us? There we go, another suicide no-hander.
So Ethan Nell taking a page out of Kyle Strait's book, adding the tricks throughout this run.
Oh, there it is. You know, every Ethan Nell Rampage run is going to have that trademark style on the flat spin 360. Look at this. He's into the finish corral with a backflip to boot. What a run for the local boy, Ethan Nell.
Nell tapping into the energy emanating from this entire valley right now. You can hear the state of Utah getting behind this young rider. The 20-year-old delivers a mind-blowing run on his first of 2.
Well, that's one benefit. There's many benefits, but being a local boy, you get to celebrate with your friends in the finish line corral. Onboard GoPro POV for that step down flip. That's what Rampage is all about. Having some secrets that people aren't expecting that you hold on to for your run. This flat spin 360 will score high, and all the elements he had on the line, combine that with the tricks he did, this is gonna be a good run here.
Let's hear from our local hero.
Oh, thanks, guys. Well, as we wait for the score, you know, Ethan, you told me your line was scary. That's how you described it.
This year, yeah.
How do you describe it now?
I'm so pumped to be at the bottom now. Like, the boys killed it this week. We dug our hearts out the whole week, and like, just making it to the bottom is so sick. And I flipped my top drop, which I really wanted to do, and which I was nervous to flip. So it's in the bag now. I'm stoked.
All right, a 3rd
place last year. How much did that motivate you to come back and just do what you did?
It made me just want to come back and just shred it even harder and show everyone what I got.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked, yeah.
Well, he did it, guys, and we'll still wait for that score. Judges are taking their time.
Well, if it was up to the fans in this valley, they would say, yeah, #1 for Ethan Nell. Taking some time to sign some autographs, but what a relief when you throw a run like that. And scores coming in, 86.33, so the local hero, Ethan Nell, moves into 3rd place as we are still in the midst of the first of 2 runs. Now remember, defending champion and the only 3-time winner, Kurt Sorge, is the last man to drop for run #1 when we return. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Signature Series. This is Rampage near Zion National Park in Utah. I'm your host, Soundmaster Kella. How do you train for the one-of-a-kind event that is Rampage? Not only is the terrain incredibly unique, but so is the pressure. The pressure of only having 2 runs once a year to prove your whole self. The pressure of dropping into a line that you created on the count of 3 while the whole world is watching and collectively holding their breath as you roll out of the start gate. How do you prepare for that? Well, there's one competitor who seems to have answered this question better than any other. His name, Kurt Sorge. He's the only rider to win Rampage a record 3 times, and one of his secrets might surprise you because it's not as much about preparation as it is about inspiration.
Going into Rampage, you know, you can be nervous about your run all week, all year. You gotta come in mentally prepared.
Speed up! My clients have all been mountain specialists. And for me, that was a passion. I want to train you in thresholds that expand your envelope of comfort. Don't slow down!
The fitness part of it is great, of course, but I think there's a whole mental side of things. I could always hear them in the back of my mind. You can't stop, don't stop.
Those things I know are there. To be introduced to it gives you an opportunity to, know a better version of yourself.
Last round, boys.
A version of yourself that can get through hard times. After I was hurt, I didn't know what my career was going to be. With the support of a bunch of great people, I saw an avenue to create a niche. How about if I just make this thing just like all the hundreds of climbs that I did before, and apply it right to these mountain athletes.
I think that's a big part of it, is just Ed as a motivator, is real inspiration.
Being able to have my imagination and my ideas expressed by other people and seeing them reach their goals, have successes like Kurt. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Wow, it's heroes like Ed that create these no-excuse zones that allow people like Kurt Sorge to flourish. And to hear about that relationship, the vicarious validation that they both get from one another, what an amazing story.
No, it's incredible. I mean, Ed has a very powerful brain, and just because he can't ride a bike now doesn't mean he can't influence one of the best riders in the world to be the best version of himself. Kurt Sorge, the 3-time champion on course, starting things out strong with a step-down flip right out of the gate.
Sorge looking to be the first ever 4-time winner here at Rampage, currently battling a shoulder injury, but does not show any signs of slowing down.
Well, something to look for here is Price is right. Will he take one of the taller takeoffs? He does! Oh, that's the biggest air we've seen into that landing all day. That was humongous. Big amplitude points there. Well, Kurt Sorge had a huge crash in practice right before he headed up for his run on that big drop, so it's great to see him put it down, but another big drop here to come. And once again, putting those tires right in the perfect spot on that landing. So much experience goes into be able to gauge the speed on those blind drops. A backflip here on the last trig jump. Oh, that's a run for Sorge. All he's got to do is flow it down to the finish line.
Sorge sending it throughout that run. So the 3-time winner, top to bottom, goes clean. You can imagine what a sigh of relief for Sorge at this point.
Take a look back. He started things strong with a step down flip. He's the only person we've seen hit that step down. Far riders left out of the gate here. And here we go. The tall takeoff to Price is Right. In the bottom right of the screen, you can see the lower takeoff. Just goes to show how much more air he took into that landing. Oh, and that right there has to be the best way to gain perspective on board with the GoPro POV. Now here's the second big drop. Almost going a little bit too short on this one. You see the head getting so close to the handlebars upon landing.
Just showing amazing strength, and by virtue of that and the rest of his entire run, Kurt Sorge, 3-time winner, moves into 7th, clearly illustrating just how high the stakes are at this year's Red Bull Rampage. So after the first of 2 runs where it's best run that counts, here is a look at our current standings. The local hero, Ethan Nell, last year's 3rd place finisher, yet again finds himself in the top 3. Former champ, the Spaniard Andreu Lacondeguy in 2nd, and Rheeder still on top with that spot of 89.66. The big question, what can Lacondeguy and the rest of the field do in run number 2? We'll find out when we return to Virgin, Utah and the Red Bull Signature Series after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Red Bull Signature Series. The red and tan sandstone cliffs of southern Utah await the riders in their pursuit of becoming the 2018 Rampage champion.
Tyler McCaul. 3, 2, 1.
As run 2s are underway, we join Tyler McCaul up top. And T-Mac throwing in one of the biggest jumps he has ever attempted in this year's run.
Well, hopefully we actually get to see him hit that this time. If you remember in run number 1, he had a crash pretty early on in the line, right about here. So let's see if he can get through this section. Flat drop, he needs to keep the wheels on the ground. There we go, he made it through that 90-degree right-hand berm. It's on now, Pat.
Tyler McCaul passed that section that he had problems in the previous
go.
Run.
Suicide no-hander off of the Price is Right. Getting into the landing on that technical step up, where we've seen some issues earlier on, but now this is where he veers riders right into the biggest drop on his line. He calls it the triple dipper. There we go. Wow, not leaving very much room for air right there, putting the tires at the very top of the landing. Now, will he have speed for this? He's coming into it from a different section. He does. He gets a backflip on the trick jump. There we go. That's a run for Tyler McCaul right there.
McCaul throwing the flip at the end, and just the sheer distance, that finite landing that he had on that big gap.
Oh, big breath of fresh air there as he celebrates with his girlfriend Skylar. Let's take a look back at a replay. He starts out with good style. He has his own takeoff, a lip takeoff for that first feature. And here we go. As he starts to trick some of these, he gets a suicide no-hander off of the lower takeoff on Price is Right, but this is the one that he's been thinking about all week here, the triple dipper. Biggest step down he's ever hit, and he definitely wouldn't have wanted to go any slower than that. Perfect to the top of the landing.
Score to beat was an 89.66, so an 82 coming in for Tyler McCaul. He'll move into 5th place. That'll be the best he'll be able to do here today. Right back to the top, Carson Storch. We talk about him representing the future of the sport.
Good. Rider number 15, Carson Storch. 3, 2, 1. Storch.
Well, this kid has such an impressive ability to focus. Just on a normal training day, he can focus, but right now, the day that means the most for this kid, out of all the other days in the year, he had a mistake in his first run. So this is his last chance to get a result here in 2018.
He's known for having that innate ability on 2 wheels.
There we go. Yes. Step down flip into that raw, rugged landing. Here's where it went wrong before. He's got better speed now for this setup jump. There we go. Oh, he's going a little bit too, oh no.
And once again, just got overcooked and wasn't able to make that connection. So Carson Storch,
That's tough to watch, Pat. I mean, he went too slow in his first run and misconnecting those features. And right here, he almost overcompensated. He went too fast for that setup, landing too far riders right. He couldn't get back up to the top of the ridge. But here's a nice slow-mo look at that step-down flip. That lip presented itself. He just smoothed it out. So did the landing. But here's the setup jump. You can see he goes too fast, and that puts him too far riders right. And you can see this angle shows where he needed to be to climb back up to the top of the ridge to set up for that drop that he 360'd after his crash in the first run. But so unfortunate, 2018 will not be another podium year for Carson Storch.
No, it was, without a doubt, it was not Carson Storch's day, but he will be back again to fight another day, and that is a good thing to see. Can anyone unseat Brett Rheeder? More from run number 2 when we return. You're watching the Red Bull Signature Series. Welcome back, everyone, to the Red Bull Signature Series. This beautiful but foreboding landscape is the setting for Rampage, the most revered free-riding mountain bike competition in the world. A look at our current leaders as we are in the midst of the second runs where best run that counts. Big question, can anyone eclipse Brett Rheeder's 89.66? Now, Szymon Godziek, we saw the flip, the crash on run number 1. How much is that going to be sitting in his head right now before he drops in on his second run?
Oh, it's going to be the first thing on his mind, and he had to wait so long before getting this second opportunity. But thank goodness we have a 2-run format, running them backwards in reverse order for run number 2. So Szymon Godziek knows exactly what he needs to fix from that mistake in run number 1. He needs to go slower into that step-up feature. And then, business as usual, so many more big hits for him after that part that he crashed in his first run.
Starting off the top, very hot. Doing that speed management. Here we go.
Well, here we go, speed management. He needs to go slower into this step up now. He does, and he's playing it safe and smart right now, not trying to do that backflip no-hander again.
So his wife and child waiting down at the bottom and putting together a solid yet, as you would say, a slightly safer run, but sticks the 3.
Look at that. Huge 360 drop. That is definitely the biggest 360 drop I've ever seen Szymon Godziek do. Now a front flip at the bottom. Well, great strategizing here for the young big mountain rider coming from the dirt jump background. He decided not to risk the trick that he crashed on in run number 1, playing it safe in that section, but then just absolutely going for broke where it actually matters more, getting that huge 360 drop.
Yeah, I want to say, when we say playing it safe, it's a relative term at Rampage. Szymon Godziek, top to bottom, a warm greeting at the bottom from his wife, Cassia.
Well, this one's got to feel even better than getting to the finish corral in the first one because he made it top to bottom without a crash. Once again, great extension and style on the tabletop on the first drop. But this is what this run was all about right here. The 360 drop. This is the kind of thing you expect from Cam Zink, Carson Storch, but Szymon Godziek showing that you can be from Poland and not only be one of the best slopestyle riders in the world, but you can have what it takes to come out to Rampage and belong. Now finishing it off with that front flip, solid run. Let's see what the score says.
And it is official, 75. The best Godziek can do will be 8th place as we're still in the midst of the second runs. We're best run that counts. So from Poland, we move all the way to Belgium. A rider who is a force to be reckoned with, especially when you talk about Red Bull Rampage as well as slopestyle, Thomas Genon.
Well, in run number 1, he was solid as always. But this kid has now turned into a bit of a Rampage veteran, surprising most who think you can't be born and raised in Belgium and slay it out here at Rampage. But he has a tendency to improve in run 2. That's what he's done in years past. So he had a suicide no-hander, nice technical steep double drops, and of course finishing things off with classic Thomas Genon tricks, a backflip landing for only a second before taking off yet again into another drop. So Thomas Genon playing the strategy card, sitting on a 78.66, but with all the ability in the world to improve upon that right now.
Even some flatland tricks for good measure. So
well-rounded.
Tommy G having a little fun with it. So currently sitting in 7th place. Just to break into the top 3, we'd have to better an 86.33. Here we go, Tommy G.
So Tommy G already sitting with an automatic invite for next year. He can't do any worse than where he's sitting right now. With Thomas Genon, only one direction to go, and that's higher up in the rankings. Already riding a little bit faster towards the top. That's going to help his score. But you know, he's such a great strategist. He's got something planned for us.
You made reference to it. His ability to improve a run on the second pass is just uncanny.
Here we go, going off the same drop that we saw Ethan Nell ride. Ethan currently sitting in 3rd. Whoa! Look at that! On such a technical jump, Thomas Genon goes for the flat spin 360, and we have seen the consequence of misgauging the speed on that feature, haven't we?
Double fall line, all of the above. Tommy G laying it all on the line here.
Now the double drop. What does he have for us in terms of tricks? Perfect extension on that suicide no-hander, changing things up from run number 1. Now he has another trickable feature here, a step down. He didn't trick it in run 1, but there we go. A backflip on the step down. Can he hold on? Yes, there he is. For a second, I thought he may have over-rotated, but Thomas Genon, Old Faithful, does it again. I've got to say that was a better run than his first one.
Without a doubt, a serious improvement on run number 2 versus his first run.
You cannot rattle this kid. He's done so much in his career. Look at this. This flat spin 360 is definitely going to have the judges scratching their heads. This feature has already established itself as a difficult one to trick. We saw that when Szymon Godziek crashed. So the flat spin 360, putting it right to the landing, showing he knows how to gauge speed. But then here, all the aspects of technicality in this double drop and finishing things off with the icing on the cake in the form of this backflip step down.
Well, even more importantly, the last rider to see if the podium is going to be upset. He's the last spoiler in the mix to take his second run. Can Tommy G unsettle the balance and force? No, the best he'll be able to do is 5th place. So it is official. These 3 top riders on the top of the mountain right now will sit on the podium. The big question remains, which order is it going to be here in Utah? Yeah, we don't know if it's going to be a victory lap at this point, Cam.
Well, I just see that guy sitting up at the top of the course, Andreu Lacondeguy. The last thing he's going to do is hand over a victory lap.
Yeah. So we are getting official word. This just in, Ethan Nell opting not to take his final run. That means he will grab the 3rd place finish, 2 years back-to-back in that spot. But now the question remains, who will the title go here in 2018? Brett Rheeder or former champ Lacondeguy? We'll find out when we return to Utah and the Red Bull Signature Series.
Rampage, part of the Red Bull Signature Series, has been brought to you by GoPro. Shaky video is dead. By BF Goodrich Tires. What are you building for? By Go RVing. Find your away. And by Utah, the state of sport.
Welcome back, everyone, to Red Bull Rampage here in Virgin, Utah. You are watching the Red Bull Signature Series, and the eyes of Andreu Lacondeguy say it all. But don't question the focus of this gentleman. Brett Rheeder in the top spot. 2 riders yet to go. The question is, who is going to take the 2018 Rampage title? Now, keep this in mind. Lacondeguy, a former champ, he knows what it takes to find the top spot. If he lays down a run and betters the 89.66 by Rheeder, Rheeder is going to be forced to best that on the last run of the day. The stakes could not possibly be higher right now for Lacondeguy.
Well, Andreu lives for situations like this. We are in for a treat. He's going to ride this line so fast. Look at that, already improving on his first run. He hasn't even hit any features yet. Just the sheer speed and bike control is unbelievable.
So Lacondeguy visibly amping up the speed factor in this second run.
But see, he has to slow it down periodically. He's got to not get ahead of himself. He's got to go fast because that's his strength, but then he needs to slow down because a lot of these features have specific speeds you need to ride them at. Here's where he gets tricky. The flat spin 450, better to the landing this time. Whoa, going deeper on the step down flip. Shutting it down nicely into this technical section. Oh, with a few more opportunities, this is gonna be good. Superman, he's gotta link it in. He does the flip step down. All right, the big question is what trick variation will he do? Oh no, he comes up short on the setup.
And just with that, Lacondeguy goes down, dashing any hopes of besting the 89.66. So it is all but official. Lacondeguy, second place finish.
What a showman. I don't know about you, Pat. My heart is pounding right now. That run was so full of intensity.
And it had such a pace building. You knew what was coming.
So the 450, he connected better to the landing, but now he went even deeper on this step down flip. But this is where it all went wrong. He needs to have perfect timing on this setup jump to be able to have more speed to do a variation. I mean, you can guess what he was gonna do, but we're never gonna know. I'm thinking maybe a flat spin 360 C-Crab Indian Air, but the world will never know, and it's second place for Andreu.
So it shows the precarious balance you need to ride at to find the top spot. Andreu Lacondeguy, a second place finish here in 2018 as Brett Rheeder becomes your 2018 Red Bull Rampage champion.
Rider number 17, Brett Rheeder.
But this is without a doubt the biggest moment in his career, and there's been a lot of big moments in this kid's career, so that's saying something.
And Rheeder has been unapologetic about his approach, getting back to the basics and focusing on the technique and bringing everything he had in his arsenal to this year's Rampage.
Look at this, he's riding some stuff for us. But there we go, yeah. Look at that. He's gonna stop riding right now and just celebrate to this crowded amphitheater of fans. What an impressive day for that guy.
You can imagine Rheeder letting the moment sink in. So much hard work paying off.
This has to be an insane feeling for him right now.
He will take his own sweet time making his way to the bottom here. What do you make of Rheeder's ability to come back and with the focus that he had this year?
Well, I'm just blown away. We got to remind you at home, this kid is from Ontario. There aren't mountains like this in Ontario. He cut his teeth as a dirt jump and slopestyle athlete, rose to the top of that form of competition, and now, against all odds, he has won Red Bull Rampage.
This year, completely redesigning his home compound, and as I mentioned, getting back to the basics of biking, and captures one of his biggest goals in his young, successful career. Rheeder, your winner.
Oh my God.
I'm stoked for you too. Camaraderie is high. We send it down to Tina Dixon, who's amidst the revelry. Tina?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but let's take a moment, Brett, and let this sink in, because you've been to Rampage a number of times before. Your top finish 5th. You have now just won Red Bull Rampage. Let this moment sink in. What does that mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is my 6th Rampage, and the first year I showed up, I was so out of my element, never ridden anything like it in my life. It was my first year with a downhill bike, and yeah, lots of trial and error. I mean, lots of ups, lots of downs here, and finally it's paid off, and it's beyond words. I did not see myself being able to pull off a win here, so to be down here right now is unbelievable.
What was different about the approach for you this time?
This year, I just like put my head down, and I pushed myself for sure, but I picked stuff that I wasn't that comfy with, and just, I don't know, just stepped up my game. My goal was to push myself and to get out of my comfort zone, and yeah, I definitely did that. Today I scared myself completely. Like, the flip mid-course is the biggest one I've ever done by a long shot, and on a downhill bike too, and so high up on the mountain. It's yeah, beyond words right now.
Brett Rheeder, let this moment sink in. A huge congratulations, guys, our 2018 Red Bull Rampage champion.
Well, hearing from Rheeder, they're very honest. My big takeaway was hearing that humility that he got when he showed up at his first Rampage. And it wasn't a week-long, month-long, year-long challenge. It was years. He continued to come back. And the payoff after all those years to finally become a Red Bull Rampage champion, that's just so impressive to me.
It takes years of experience for anybody to win this event, especially if you grew up in the flat prairies of Ontario, Canada. There's no way this kid would have ever thought he would have won Rampage. But it just goes to show hard work pays off, and Brett Rheeder works harder than anybody.
All right, a story of inspiration and hope here at the 2018 Red Bull Rampage. Once again, we send it back to Sal.
Thank you, Pat, and thanks to all of you for joining us at the 2018 edition of Rampage here in southwestern Utah. You know, every year at Rampage, it feels like, okay, we've hit the ceiling, we can't possibly get any more progression, and then just like that, the ceiling is shattered. This year, no exception. Got to thank all of the riders today for sharing their adventure and constantly inspiring us, because here at Rampage, completing your run is the biggest victory. Standing on the podium, well, that's just icing on the cake. And of course, the Red Bull signature moment goes to none other than making his first Rampage appearance only 6 years ago. A huge congratulations goes to Brett Rheeder on his first win, and to Andreu, Lacondeguy, and Nell for rounding out the podium. In 2018, it is not enough just to throw technical tricks or to hit massive drops or to ride an exposed face, but if you want to win Rampage, you got to master all three. The X Games slopestyle gold medalist now adds Red Bull Rampage champion to his belt, and Brett Rheeder gets our signature moment. And now, by downloading or updating your Red Bull TV app, you can experience the mountain for yourself. Explore exclusive AR content, including 360 video, view each rider's line, and watch exclusive POV runs, all at your fingertips. The Red Bull Signature Series travels from the desolate desert landscape of southern Utah to the frigid temperatures of downtown St. Paul, Minnesota. The Ice Cross Downhill Championship Series kicks off in the shadow of the Cathedral of St. Paul. Head-to-head racing action down a track of ice that includes jumps, drops, steep turns, and high speeds. Be sure to join us for Red Bull Crashed Ice from St. Paul, Minnesota. That is Saturday, December 22nd, right here on Fox. Once again, thank you for hanging out with us. And on behalf of our entire Red Bull Signature Series crew, including Pat Parnell, Cam McCaul, Tina Dixon, and myself, we will see you next time.